I, a 28-year-old woman, am over 3 months along in my pregnancy, and I am worried that if I tell my sister, who is a 21-year-old woman, she is going to try to get pregnant too. Again. 2 years ago, I had my first pregnancy. I announced it to my family at dinner, and everyone was very happy and supportive of me. I have been with my boyfriend, a 34-year-old man, for 5 years now, and it seemed like everything was finally falling into place for our Midwest life. But my sister is a narcissist, and saw how happy and excited everyone was for me. She decided she wanted that for herself. She made it her mission to also get pregnant, while still in college, with no job and no place of her own. She got pregnant within the next 2 months while she was still at school and expected everyone to also be excited for her. Obviously, she got a very different reaction and was really mad at everyone for not just accepting her irresponsible choice. She ended up dropping out. Fast forward to my emergency cesarean section, where we fought to keep my baby alive in the neonatal intensive care unit. But after 9 heartbreaking days, my baby passed away. I do not want to get into the details of it, but obviously, it was traumatic. And my sister's whole world completely changed from what she thought it would be, thinking we would be raising our children together. Her baby was born on time and healthy, and I hate to say this, but she is a terrible mother. She does not prioritize her child at all. She does not even capture his milestones or spend quality time with him. She just dumps him on a family member for a few days so she can go out. To each their own, but it is extremely infuriating, considering how motherhood was ripped away from me, and she does not have a maternal bone in her body. Now 2 years later, she is still in the same spot. No job, living with her mother. She still does not prioritize her child, and she did not go back to school. Her son is not speaking words yet. He just grunts, and he is developmentally delayed. I see this, and it makes me realize she never really wanted a child. She just wanted that unconditional support from our family that they showed me. So now that I am pregnant again, I really do not want to tell her, and my family has agreed with me not to tell her. I am worried she is going to see this as an opportunity to get pregnant again because she is obsessed with attention, whether it is negative or positive, and she cannot stand when the spotlight is on me. But I feel bad. The further along I get, and the more people I tell, the more she is going to be extremely upset when she finds out. And if you know what narcissistic rage is, then you understand exactly what I mean. I figured maybe I would tell her this weekend, finally. But then she just posted on her social media story, saying, "Going crazy this summer because I am manifesting a baby girl next year." Like, excuse me, you cannot even keep a job, you do not even help your mom with rent, and you want to have a second child already. For what purpose? You are not even a good mother to your first child. The father of her child wants to take him for custody. It makes me want to shake her by the shoulders and scream, honestly. Now I know when I tell her, she is definitely going to try to do it again. I rarely see her, and we are not technically that close, so I could hide this for as long as I wanted, to be honest. Am I the bad person here, or are my fears valid? Edit, I understand the concern for my nephew. My family is fully supportive of the father getting custody. My sister is the only one against it. We all see her for who she is, but she does not see anything wrong with her actions. Her son is only 2 years old right now. She does not think she is a bad mom. Both she and my nephew live with her mother, who is my stepmother, and she is a school teacher. My stepmom does as much as she can to help him, while also still trying to maintain her own life. But she does not want the entire responsibility of raising a child, and I am sure that is understandable. Story 2. Am I the asshole for telling my sister's baby's father to sleep in the spare bedroom, instead of on my couch in his underwear? My mom passed away 2 years ago, and the house she shared with my dad was left to him. He moved to Mexico for a while and rented it to me, my fiancé, and a roommate, his best friend's daughter. The roommate moved out after failing to pay rent, but I continued covering the mortgage and invested in repairs. New floors, plumbing, cleaning, and so on. Recently, my dad moved back and now lives downstairs. We split the mortgage since he can't afford it alone, and I want to keep the house in the family. My fiancé and I live upstairs. I am 5.5 months pregnant and work as a flight attendant, so I'm often gone and exhausted. My sister has a 3-year-old daughter with a man, her child's father, who was abusive to her. They broke up, but she let him stay with her while he figured things out. She moved to a new place with her new boyfriend, but let her child's father stay at my house, so he could see their daughter on his designated days. He's not on the lease, pays no rent, doesn't work, and I didn't have a say in this arrangement. My sister is comfortable with him watching their daughter here rather than at a hotel or a new place where he would be living with random roommates. The spare bedroom upstairs is basically a laundry and storage room with a bed. I asked my sister to help clean it if her child's father wanted to sleep there. She said she would but never did, so I cleaned and washed the linens myself. Still, her child's father sleeps on the couch in just his underwear and walks around shirtless. It makes me extremely uncomfortable, especially being pregnant. The other night, I made soup and was with my niece. My fiancé came home, and we were trying to have a normal evening. My niece peed on the couch and her parents, my sister and her child's father were cleaning it. I told them the bed is clean and her child's father needs to sleep there, not on the couch. If he has issues, he can clean or bag the laundry, which my sister said she would help me do but never did. My sister blew up. She said her daughter is more comfortable sleeping on the couch with her dad and that I'm kicking a 3-year-old off the couch. She called the room a dirty damn room no one would want to sleep in, even though I cleaned it. She accused me of acting like a victim and blowing up, even though I'd been asking nicely for weeks. She insists the house is just as much hers as mine because it belonged to our mom. Today, she threatened to start paying part of the mortgage, so I can't keep acting like it's only my house. Her 3-year-old daughter has basically no discipline and dictates where she sleeps. My sister lets it happen. I don't plan to let a toddler control my living space or override adult boundaries. After this, her child's father left and got a hotel because he felt I wasn't welcoming enough. My sister had to take her daughter to her own house and got upset with me for ruining her plans, as if setting boundaries in my home is the problem. To be clear, my sister doesn't live here or pay rent. Her child's father is here for free with no responsibilities. I pay the mortgage and maintain the house. I'm pregnant and just want respect and boundaries. Update *. I woke up to this text from my dad in a group chat with me, him, and my sister. This episode of you all arguing yesterday was uncalled for. I hate it. Let's all learn to discuss things in a cool-headed tone with respect. If child's father needs a place to stay or sleep, he can certainly stay upstairs, preferably in more than boxer shorts, He just needs to help contribute to the bills. As your mother would say, family is everything, and just because child's father is an ex of your sister, he's still your niece's father. But I'll say this, if he ever puts his hands on your sister again, it'll be the last thing he does. Story 3. Am I the asshole for only buying food for myself? I am a 19-year-old female and have been home from college for about a month now. I live with my mother, her boyfriend, my 2 younger sisters, both 15 years old, and her boyfriend's 2 sons, ages 13 and 12. I didn't even know his kids were living here permanently until I got back for summer break. I don't have a problem with them personally, we barely speak. The only issue is that food in this house disappears constantly. It's not that my mother and her boyfriend don't buy groceries, they do. But no matter how much food is in the house, it's gone in a day or two. My younger sisters, and I guess you could call them, my mother's boyfriend's sons, eat all the time. They'll have a full breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then still go downstairs throughout the day and night making snacks, extra meals, or just raiding the refrigerator. I'm not exaggerating. Sometimes they make 10 different things between meals. Even when there are leftovers, I'll come home and there's nothing left. I've asked my mother about it, and she'll say she told them to save me some, but they never do. This has happened so many times that I just gave up. I started putting food aside before I left the house, but even then, someone would eat it. So now I've started ordering food delivery for myself or cooking my own food and keeping it in my mini refrigerator from college. I stock it with groceries I buy with my own money and just cook for myself when I need to eat. I don't touch the shared food anymore and I don't ask anyone to share mine. When my mother and her boyfriend are at work, and the refrigerator is empty, and my siblings are hungry because they ate all the food in 2 days, I don't react because it's not my fault or responsibility. The other day, my mother made a comment about how I only think about myself, and I should think about the house as a whole. My sisters are part of this, but the majority of the issue is with her boyfriend's kids. Before I left for college and they didn't live here, food would last. I told my mother that, and she replied, "They're still growing, and you're just being dramatic because you don't like them living here." That's not the case at all. I get that maybe I'm wrong for ordering food delivery or cooking food while they're hungry, but I'm also tired of being hungry and stressed in my own home. They don't think about me while they're eating my leftovers. Am I the asshole? Story 4. A while ago, I helped out two close friends, Stephen, who is a good friend and former coworker, and his girlfriend, Clara. Stephen and I worked together for about 4 years until I moved away 8 months ago, but we stayed in touch and I visited a few times. I also became good friends with Clara. They live in a rented house. 2 months ago, they adopted a stray cat. They were absolutely over the moon. Since they had never had a cat before and I have had cats all my life, they messaged me constantly with questions. They had a 1-week vacation booked before adopting the cat. Clara asked if I could come stay in their home and take care of her. She said it was a big ask, but I was the only person she trusted. I have a flexible work situation, and they are good friends, so I agreed. I used 5 vacation days, traveled 6 hours to their city and stayed 7 days. I took care of the cat, watered the plants, and sent daily photo updates. Their fridge was fully stocked, so I did not spend anything. But the week was rough. I had relationship problems, I tend to overthink things, and the cat went into heat and meowed nonstop. They said they would fix her before, but that did not happen. With not much to do and the constant noise, I was really drained. Still, I got through it. On day 6, I sent Stephen a voice message, saying I was happy to be heading home soon, and explained how I would clean before leaving, but some mess would remain. He replied saying I should not worry, and that they would handle it all. I left the next day, after another 6-hour trip. 2 hours after I got home, Stephen called. He was very polite but clearly upset. He said they were shocked at how I left the place and told me Clara could not stop crying. I was stunned. I told him I thought part of the compensation for my help was that I did not need to leave the place spotless. He admitted he misunderstood my message and thought I planned to deep clean. We ended the call politely and chalked it up to a miscommunication. Here is what I left behind. Number 1, empty bottles, refundable in my country, stacked on the table. Number 2, trash that could rot was taken out. Cardboard and other dry trash were left in one spot. Number 3, used towels and bedsheets in a pile near the bed. Number 4, some rinsed dishes in the dishwasher, and 3 or 4 items that were rinsed but not yet loaded. There was nothing dangerous in reach of the cat. I have lived alone for 9 years and have always been considered tidy. But yes, I failed to consider their much higher cleaning standards. I apologized to Stephen the next day for seeing only through my own perspective. Clara, however, sent a very harsh message. She said she was deeply disappointed, called me ungrateful, ended the friendship, and told me I should not even dare to justify my behavior or apologize for anything. That message hit me hard. I lashed out in return. I called her ungrateful, emotionally unstable, and crazy. Childish, I know. Now Clara and I are done. Things with Stephen are strained, the damage is done. But I still wonder. Am I the bad person for not leaving the house spotless after cat sitting for free? Story 5. Am I the asshole? Partner damaged my property and is annoyed I asked him to replace it. On Tuesday, while I was at work, my partner sent me a photo of my clothes drying rack, completely wrecked, along with a text that said, "Had a massive fight with the clothes rack, smashed the damn thing," followed by a flexing arm and grimacing face emoji. We each have our own clothes dryers. He dislikes mine because it's too large and hard to move around the hallway and rooms. That day, I had my clothes out in the garden to dry, and he brought the rack inside for me. I hadn't asked him to, because it must have started to rain. For context, He has always had a strong dislike for this drying rack, and while we often joked about it, it hasn't been a real issue since he usually avoids it. The rack had started to break down. If you carried it, a pole might fall out and the whole thing would collapse. Sure, it was annoying, but it was still my property. I can only imagine that, as he brought it inside, it fell apart and he just lost his temper. I actually found the situation a bit funny, but when I called him, he didn't apologize, which annoyed me. I started to think that if the roles were reversed, there's no way I would have done that, and if I had, apologizing would be the first thing I'd do. I told him this, and he promised he would buy me a new one that very day. Since then, it's now Friday. Every day he's told me he'll go get a replacement, but he still hasn't because he's too tired from work. This is making me increasingly irritated because it feels like he isn't genuinely sorry. I can understand a moment of frustration, but if you truly felt bad, you'd go out and replace it immediately so you wouldn't inconvenience the other person, which is exactly what he's doing. I like to do my laundry on Fridays and haven't been able to because he can't be bothered to go to the shops. I don't drive, so it's hard for me to get one myself, and honestly, I don't think I should have to. On top of that, I'm studying for a financial degree and working full-time, so I'm already overwhelmed, and this situation just adds to my stress. He called me on his way home from work tonight, and I asked if he was going to the store. He started saying he was tired, and I told him I felt like he wasn't taking it seriously since he had been saying every day he'd get it. He got annoyed on the phone, saying I was making him go to the store tonight, then curtly said bye and hung up. I texted him, explaining that it was because of his actions that he had to go to the store, so he shouldn't be annoyed with me. I also said that if he was in the mood to argue, he should go out with a friend tonight because I wouldn't be engaging with it. He came home with the new clothes rack, but didn't say a word to me. I walked into another room and said hello, but he ignored me. When I asked what was wrong, he became irritated and claimed I was attacking him. I just feel so frustrated by the entire situation. Am I the asshole for insisting he go to the store instead of waiting until the weekend? I honestly feel like this is simply the consequence of his actions, and he should have thought about that before damaging my belongings. Story 6. Hey everyone. So, I have a weird grievance about myself that I need help figuring out. My third cousin, who is the same age as me, came to me and said that I owed her some money. I was shocked because I have never borrowed from her ever. It turns out that our aunt had taken her jewelry shopping and asked her to pick out a necklace for me. While they were shopping, my cousin jokingly asked our aunt if she was going to get anything for herself. The aunt said, no, so my cousin picked out an ugly necklace, figuring she was just helping choose a gift for me. 2 weeks later, our aunt came to me and asked me to pick out a necklace that I thought would suit my cousin. I picked a cute necklace with a small pink diamond pendant, something I thought she would like. Fast forward to Easter. We gathered at our grandparents' house to celebrate the day. Our aunt asked both of us to wrap the presents we had picked out. We had already wrapped them, thinking it was just part of the surprise. Then, when it was time for gift giving, the aunt told us to open the box we had wrapped ourselves, which we thought was the other person's gift. Or, if we wanted, we could gift it to each other. I was so happy when I opened the box and got the cute necklace that I had selected. But my cousin was not happy at all. She immediately demanded that I give her what she called her rightful present, the cute necklace, and take the meh necklace instead. I refused. I explained that we were each supposed to keep our own gifts because we spent time picking them out ourselves. Aunt did not want to take the risk of choosing wrong, so she took us shopping and still tried to make it a lovely surprise for both of us. So as far as I am concerned, my cousin is stuck with the ugly necklace, not me. But she argued and said that she did not think the necklace was ugly. She said she wanted to encourage gifting between family and that I should take the less desirable one. Now my other relatives, who do not really understand the whole story, have sided with her. Please help me figure this out. I am seriously struggling here. I will quote your replies to my relatives, and if more than 50% of you support me, I will finally have a solid point to hold on to. Story 7. My husband and I are both 25 years old, and we have a 2.5-year-old child. We have been married for 5 years. My husband got sick with a cold yesterday, so today he stayed home from work. I usually handle all the parenting and house chores, at least most of them, during the day, so it was not hard to leave him alone to rest in the morning. He played some video games and laid in bed the whole time. By the afternoon, I logged into work, so I let our toddler run around the house, in our bedroom, wherever she wanted. I was not really paying attention since she was fed and happy, and my husband was downstairs while I was upstairs in my office. As dinner time rolled around, I logged off and made dinner. He was still laying around, which was fine because he is sick. After dinner, I went to his parents' house with our daughter just to drop off some things and help out my mother-in-law for an hour. When I told her my husband was sick, she gave me a bunch of food for him and kept asking if I gave him medicine. And that is when I began to feel a little irritated. I got home and our daughter was fussy since it was a little past her usual bedtime. The house was a mess, and dinner still needed to be cleaned up. I already knew I would need to clean, but for some reason, I just felt so frustrated in the moment. My husband walked out and I just began to clean, letting him deal with our daughter. At first, it took him 20 minutes just to get her into pajamas. By then, I was finishing up cleaning. He put her in bed without brushing her teeth, and I had to remind him to brush her teeth. That is when he started grumbling about how he was sick, and did not have the energy to handle her when she was fussy. I lost it and almost yelled at him to just brush her teeth and go to bed. He said I was being unreasonably mean. We have not really talked much since then. He brushed her teeth and they both went to sleep right away. I just cannot sleep. I am still so frustrated. When I am sick, my routine does not change. The only thing different is that I either do not work, or I work half as many hours. When I am sick, I still do all the house and parenting duties. Am I really the bad person for expecting him to do some parenting duties while sick? Story 8. I am a teenage boy between 13 and 16 years old, and I have a younger sister who is 12 years old. For the sake of this story, let us call her Arya. For the basics, we were at a birthday party for her friend, who we can call Quinn. Quinn had turned 13 the day before, but only got around to having the party today. It was a space-themed party, with things like planet stickers and fake star tattoos, and Quinn had made a goodie bag for everybody, including the siblings of his friends, which I would qualify as. When we got around to opening the goodie bags and seeing what was inside, Arya made the shocking discovery that I had a purple fidget tube in my goodie bag, which happened to be her favorite color. Her own goodie bag contained a blue fidget tube. The color options were purple and blue to match the space theme. As soon as she saw this, she tried to grab the purple fidget tube out of my hands, claiming that she deserved it more because she was the friend of the birthday boy, while I was just there because I was related to her. Quinn's mom, who we can say is called Mia, came up to us and said that I could either give the fidget tube to my sister or we would get kicked out of the party. Mia clearly favors my sister and has shown this favoritism in the past. I personally did not want to do that. I shut the conversation down and refused to hand over the fidget tube, partly out of pure spite for my sister, and partly because she had just tried to steal from me. As a result, we got kicked out of the party. Our mom ended up yelling at me because she had something planned for my sister to do while we were there, and she could not do it now because we had been kicked out. I think I might have been a bit petty, and maybe I caused unnecessary conflict. Am I the bad person in this situation? Story 9. I am a professional baker by trade. My brother's fiancé asked me to do their wedding cake right after they got engaged. We had already finalized the design and all the details months ahead of time. But 3 months before the wedding, she casually showed me a picture of a wedding cake and told me that one of her friends would be making that cake for them instead. Not only did she completely change the cake design, but she also added other desserts on top of that. She did not even give an explanation or apologize for why she suddenly had someone else make their cake. Not going to lie, I was extremely hurt. That was supposed to be my wedding gift to them, and everyone in my family was already expecting me to make that cake. My brother's fiancée told me I could help out with something else, or that if I wanted, I could pay for something else instead as a wedding gift. I told her I would help them out as much as I could, but I would not commit to something that was out of my budget. Then, a month before the wedding, her friend, the one who was supposed to make their cake, messaged me. She asked me, and all my baker friends, if she could borrow my baking supplies because she was from a different place and did not really have anything to use for her baking. She said she did not want to buy supplies just for that one event. I am not selfish by any means, but I just cannot comprehend why I should have to go through all the trouble of packing up my stuff and asking my friends if I could borrow their equipment as well. It feels like a bit of a slap in the face, knowing that she asked someone else to make their cake and then has them use all of my supplies. Am I the bad person if I say no to sharing my stuff, or should I be the bigger person and just let it all go? Story 10. I am a 29-year-old woman, and I have been with my husband, a 26-year-old man, for a couple of years now. We are both total goofballs who love making each other smile. We have a lot in common and agree on most things, so real arguments between us are few and far between. One thing we do clash on more often, though, is when a joke has gone too far. And when we clash on that, we clash hard. I have eczema, a lot of anxiety and stress, and for some reason, I seem to attract every mosquito within 20 miles of me. Those are all excellent reasons to take a nice, relaxing oatmeal bath once in a while. I do not usually block out time in the day just for myself. I am always either working, doing things around the house, or spending time with my friends or my husband. So when I do finally go out of my way to do something for myself or set aside time to relax, it really means a lot to me. On this particular day, I made myself a cute little homemade bath sachet, put a movie on my phone, set out some snacks, and settled in to relax. I was probably in there for about 30 minutes before my husband came into the bathroom to use the toilet. We are comfortable around each other, so this was not a big deal. I felt relaxed and playful, so I started goofing around with him, teasing him to show me his, well, private parts. He goofed back and turned his back toward me. I pouted and pretended to be mad that he was ignoring me, and then I flicked some water at him in a playful way. He groaned, sounded angry, and immediately left the room. Maybe I should not have done that. I definitely did not actually care whether he showed off for me or not. I was just kidding around. For a second, I thought I had genuinely screwed something up. I started getting anxious, wondering if I should get out of the bath and go talk to him. But that is when he came back into the bathroom, holding a whole cup full of freezing cold water, and threw it at me. My bath was ruined. It was no longer remotely warm, and my back was freezing cold and tense. My clothes, which I had left folded on the floor next to the tub, were soaked, and this is where I am not sure whether I am the bad person here. He was laughing his butt off, and I got angry with him. I yelled and asked him why on earth he would do that. He immediately got defensive and told me that I started it by throwing water at him first, and that it was unfair for me to expect him not to get back at me. He said I was overreacting, and that my anger made him feel like he could not do anything right with me anymore. He told me I needed to learn how to take a joke. I just drained my bath and walked out. He went back to his video game like nothing happened. I do not want him to think he cannot mess around with me. I adore his goofy antics. And it is not that he cannot get me back when we are teasing each other, but my bath was ruined. And it really felt like a huge escalation over a little flick of, let's be honest, not even cold water. Maybe I should not have bugged him in the first place. Maybe I should have left him alone when he came in. But what he did back feels way bigger and kind of unfair. I do not know. Am I the bad person in this situation? Thanks for making it to the end of today's video. I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider liking or subscribing, but I hope you have a nice day either way.